This is the bonus section podcast episode number 20. Stop waiting to get started. Are you the type of person that knows you were meant for something greater in this lifetime, and that somewhere inside of you there's just this bigger version waiting to break through, but in spite of all your self-development, you just can't seem to find the way up? Well then, hey, you're definitely in the right place. I'm Danny Griffin, the founder of the bonus section and the host of this podcast, and a person just like you trying to learn how to live the most fulfilling life possible. Now, to help you take immediate action to get moving in a better direction, we take all the notes from each episode and we post them for a brief time over at freethinkingtools.com so that you have some actionable notes to work on your own self-development, okay? All right, so, and by the way, all these insights that I share are inspired by the hours and hours and hours that I've had the fortune of spending with people, coaching them in the context of my business coaching program for real estate agents and the myriad children I have. I have 5 kids, and so I get to see as a father, all of those things and just being a guy about town. So there's no rocket science. There's no necessary formula to this. I'm just trying to crack that code like you are on how to live a more fulfilling life, right? And I think this stuff helps. And it's not rah-rah. It's pragmatic, it's practical, and hopefully it's actionable. So let me get started here. Stop waiting to get started. Now, I see this in that context, and that's why I've brought this up. Why do people, let me go to the business context first. You have people who know what they're supposed to do. They want to do it. They need to do it. And if they do it, it would change their life in a business context because they could be more profitable, gain more time, live a better life. Same thing with somebody who's just getting started with something that they've always desired to be, but whatever it was school beat it out of them, parents, friends, society, embarrassment beat it out of them, and they never got started doing it. So you see, you can apply this to any kind of context, but it's really brutal when you're stuck in that mud. And you just can't seem to get started because more and more things are weighing on you. So let me go through these thinking points that I had here. Number 1, just simply ask yourself, is there something that you've always wanted to do? And the answer is, of course there is. There is for all of us. We're born into this world really with a drive to do something, and we think about it a lot. And I think it's, you're born with it. And, again, you have to get into the environment, into the world, and it comes out and you see it and you're ready to go. And there it is. And you know it. You know what it is. But you have to allow that to become conscious, right? That's the whole thing. You have to get it up out of your subconscious. And really, when I say subconscious, you probably think about it when you go to bed at night. You're probably Googling it, and you might be doing it unconsciously. You might just be doing it and not really thinking about it. Oh my gosh, he's right. I really do spend a lot of screen time looking at this or learning about that. And I can't wait till work ends. I can't wait till, before I go to, dinner at night or right before bed or when I wake up in the morning. It's that thing. It's the thing you want to do. And again, it doesn't have to be one thing. It could be a couple of things. It could be in a business context. I've always wanted to do this in a business context. Personally, I love to travel the world and look at some of the great artworks and go on that sort of a travel jag. Whatever, there's something you want to do. And it's been there in the forefront of your mind, right? Now, the next question, so number 1 is identifying that, make it conscious, bring it to the top. But the next point is, are you even able to identify what's keeping you from moving forward in that direction? Now, you might say, well, I don't have the money, I don't have the resources, my parents, don't want me to do it, my spouse doesn't want me to do it, whatever. Name it. So, we're just really going through a couple of points here where we're, number 1, naming and giving life to the thing that we want to do. Nobody can take that away from you. You do that in the privacy of your own world. Nobody can stop you. You're not enslaved. Your thoughts are not enslaved. You have the freedom to think no matter what your current situation is, no matter how locked down you feel you are by the pressures of whatever on the outside. Name it. But the next thing is name also what is keeping you from moving forward. And I get that some of it could be pretty heavy. If you have somebody that you love that's keeping you down or keeping you from that, and you feel enslaved in that context, I get that one. That's a toughie. But at least you have to bring that to the forefront if you're going to resolve it. If you're going to resolve and remove that obstacle, you must name it. And when I say name it, one of the greatest things, I'm sitting here looking at 3 legal pads and a, wired binder that are right next to me and 3 pens, pencil, so that every time that there's a thought that I know I need to get out of my head, or I know I haven't been, some people call it more formally journaling. How about just writing some thoughts down? Here's a couple. What have I always wanted to do and what's keeping me from doing it? What a great start. Just to have that cathartic moment to take that stuff from the subconscious to the conscious, run it down your arm, run it through a pen or a pencil and onto a piece of paper. There's something amazingly cathartic about that. To get it out of you, to name it, to see it, and then it becomes this thing. And what's crazy about that is it's now simplified. See, when left in the brain to mush around with the rest of the thoughts that come in and out of the ether. By the way, you can't always control what comes in and out of your head. It just does it. And it's colliding with these things that are important. So that act of getting them out and getting them down on paper, we begin to see this collision of what we want and what's in the way. Let that sink in for a second. And why that's important is because now you get to name these excuses as to why you won't fall forward and resolve it. And again, I'm going to recognize, I know you're going to say and listen to this, well, that's easy for you to say. You don't have this burden. I get it. But what I'm saying is that, and I'm going to give you an accelerant on how to deal with this in a second. But if you have this thing that's in your way, this person, this thought process, whatever it is, that's the time to remember the word resourcefulness. You must be resourceful in that moment. You must tap into this being, this incredible onboard computer that is way more resourceful than you could ever imagine it is, that there is a solution in your brain, or at least there's a direction you can begin to move in to find the resources to resolve this conflict. Whether it's a therapist, whether it's just a conversation, whether it is free resources that are available that you thought you need to go get the money, but you didn't know there were resources. You didn't know there were other ways. See, because you've never thought about it consciously, so you've never brought it up where you're almost forced to think about its resolution. That's where I want that stuff in my life. I want it in my face because it's important, and here's why. The next point is this. Tick, tock, tick, tock, tick, tock. You hear that clock? Listen to that clock and imagine what it would feel like to run out of time. So there's this thing that has been in and out of your conscious for years that you want to do. Things, lifestyle, whatever. It's been there the whole time. And you never really took the time to name the obstacle and beat on it, so you never really gave it a real full chance. And all the while that was happening, the clock just kept running. And time, my friends, is relentless. It is relentless. It gives you plenty of itself to do these things, to name it, to resolve the conflict, and to pursue it. It gives you plenty of time. But as you sit there and you let yourself ruminate over it, and you get stuck in the mud, and you run from it, and you do all the other things, you live a life, and we wonder, why are we so depressed? Why are we so angry? Why are we so frustrated? Because we're not dealing with this thing that we want to be about, that we want to live, and the clock is just ticking. Great tragedy to come to the end of your life, or knowing that you have just simply run out of time to physically be able to do it. And there is a real time when that happens. there are some terrible tragedies that happen too early, or life just goes on and you get this vision, oh my gosh, I'm still going to do it. And now you don't have the physical energy or the wherewithal to be able to do it. What a shame for all of us. And so the final point here that I wanted to make is, you see, when we name it, it gets exciting and it blows up big. Oh my gosh, he's right. I'm naming the thing. I'm naming the dang thing that's in the way, and I see it and it's agitating me. I get that I can be resourceful. Anybody can, because if somebody else did this, why not me? Why not me? Why not me? And now the time is running down on me, and that's my incentive. Put a little hourglass on the table and flip it over while you're thinking about these things, while you're writing down, what is it that I want to do? What is it that I need to do? What is in the way of doing that? What resources do I need to overcome that obstacle? Because if it's psychological, you might need a good therapist to sit down and talk through it. Maybe it's fear-based and that's real and it's scary. Maybe it's monetarily based and you need to find other monetary resources or other ways to get it done. I get that there are real obstacles there, but the minute it comes to the forefront, you can work on it. So put those words down on paper, confront this situation, and flip the dang timer over the sand in the hourglass and watch it run down, and do it again and do it again and do it again, and understand that that's the accelerant as to why we need to move. You got to get moving. But the final point here is that we make it so big that we think it's going to require a lot of time. And we're supposed to start almost like the start is almost this burden. Okay, good. I got it. I know what it is. I'm finally getting over what I was afraid of or what I didn't have that I could use. Now I'm there. Man, it just seems so big, and it's big. And my gosh, it's going to take all these hours. And everything starts as a side hustle. I know you got your life, you got your kids, you got your job, you have your responsibilities, you got to put food on the table. I understand that. I am you. I get that. But start it as a side hustle. Because if I go back and listen to that, look at that hourglass, yes, it goes through there pretty quickly, but there's still a lot of it. 168 full hours every single week. What does it take to start this thing that you've always wanted, to get going after it? What does it take as a side hustle? Do you know what the quality of 1 hour dedicated to this thing that is so important to you? It's consuming so many of your thoughts. 1 lousy hour, 60 minutes to sit down, block out the entirety of the world and get after it. Even if it's a dent, even if you're just beginning to learn about it, you read one article on Google about it, you watch one video on YouTube about it, whatever. It's just a side hustle when it starts, and you learn a little bit more, and now it refines itself, and you refine your interest. Geez, I thought I was interested in this way, but it turns out after a little bit of research, 1 hour a week for a month, 4 hours, I discovered I liked this specialty in there. Now it's refined. Now the use of time to pursue it is getting better, and the side hustle is becoming more efficient. And the next thing you know, you're learning more, you're indulging more. Now you're part of groups where, oh my gosh, there are other people just like me. See where I'm going? A dang side hustle to go get what you want. And it doesn't interfere with you surviving. To thrive, 1 lousy hour a week to just put a dent in it so we change the chemistry in our brain, to feel the movement, to overcome the fear, to find the resources. Come on, man. What a thinking tool that is. All right? So let me get back at this thing and let me break this down. I have seen too many people just keep waiting to get started at something. In a business context, children, adults, fear-based, resource-based, whatever. And it drives me batty. And it scares me. It scares me. And I need to give myself the cattle prod, you the cattle prod, I'm sorry, gruesome tool, but give myself the taser. How about that? I need to tase myself into action to move. I need an electric shock to move and get going. And that electric shock for me is identifying there's something I want to do and I haven't named it. So I'm taking it through my arm, down on the pen and on the paper while the hourglass is going. There's the thing. Now, why not? Why am I able to identify what's keeping me from moving towards that? What is it? Procrastination is a generalization. What is the thing? Is it somebody's opinion? Is it my own fear of failure? What is it? And if I need help overcoming that, do I need a therapist? What do I need? Do I need to read a book? Do I need to join a group? Then I have to listen to that clock ticking down and getting scared that I'm going to run out of time to do it. So what do? Last point, I started as a lousy, simple side hustle. 1 hour a week, 60 minutes dedicated to that thing, and don't tell me or yourself you don't have it, 'cause you do. All right? So let me summarize it this way. There are a few things in our lives that we have a burning desire or a need to pursue, but for some dang reason, we can't seem to take action. While we weigh ourselves down with excuses as to why we can't, time continues to pass us by and be relentless. So it's time to take action and start pursuing that thing, even if it starts as a little old side hustle. All right, now remember, you can take immediate action to get moving in a better strategic direction and get over this stuff and keep moving towards your dreams, because we take the notes for you each time. Each time there's an episode, and we upload them for a brief time at freethinkingtools.com, because I don't want a whole list of them over there, and we'll move them over at some point in time to a membership site where if you want to go back into the backlog, you can get it. But keep moving. I'm about not getting stuck. Oh, I've got all these episodes. I got to go back. Go just do the one that you're listening to that's right there. Go to the most recent one, and the notes are there for you so you can sit there and think about your life and what you need to do to make it better. Also, don't forget, you can subscribe to this podcast on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you listen, and you won't miss out on any of these insights each time we upload. We also post all of these episodes all over our social media channels, from here to there to everywhere, as long as we can keep up with the new channels. So remember, turn on those notifications for the bonus section, and you won't miss the reminders. But of course, we'd also appreciate it if you would help us in our mission by sharing this information so it gets in the hands of the people that really need it and those people that want, like you and me, to improve. So if you could share it, that'd be great. And you join our global mission of becoming a person for others. Just the best way to live. Get outside of yourself and serve. Hey, thanks for listening. But remember this. Nobody's coming for you, so go get to work on yourself, and I will see you in the next episode. Thanks for listening.